Doing it this time for real. I just had to test to make sure the sound actually worked. It works wonderfully. So, what I'm going to be doing today is writing some music because I feel like it. I tried my hardest to avoid writing anything because I'm never happy with it, and it's really hard to get something I like anymore. When I first started writing, it wasn't that tough. I just sort of put things down and said, wow, look what I've done. And that was a song. And now I'm starting to sort of put all these rules and parameters and things in place so I know now what works and things that don't work, and so now it's a lot harder to convince myself that I've written something good. So here's what I've got. Here's not what I've got so far. Here's what I've written that I'm going to completely strip and then reassemble in a different way, because I've got a brilliant idea, a different new idea. I'm sort of inspired by, I guess, hell, which is pretty cliche, but whatever. It's gonna be my best stab at it. And what I'm gonna do is just, since I've already got stuff written here that I know is gonna work, I'm just gonna use this sort of template that's already got stuff written and just take bits and pieces that I like and then go from there. So here's what it sounds like before I destroy it. Okay, that's what I got. Not the worst, I guess. I was really trying to hold myself back from fixing little things, whoops, like that. And the reason I was doing that is because it ultimately doesn't matter, because I'm just gonna do this. Boom. Control A, select everything, put that there. Now, Control N, Control none. No, not gonna work. Very well. Okay, that works. Okay, so this sort of thing is more in line with what I want to do, but I don't like it the way it is. Now the problem, though, is that there's a multitude of ways I can start this off. I can literally I can start this off with any pattern. I can start with this clicking sound first, which I don't think I'm going to do. I can start it off with that first. I can start it off with the drums, which I kind of like the idea of, but I think... and then I can also start it off with that little alarm sound that you heard earlier on. The alarm sound, I think I'm going to turn into something else, because that doesn't sound very, I don't know, infernal. So what I'm going to do... These I'm going to change. I don't want this... That doesn't sound very medieval to me, so I'm going to change that into... I'm thinking voices. I just need to remember where I find those. Voice, ooh, voice, I can actually just search for it. should find absolutely nothing for me here. Let's try that again. Control F, search. Oh, here it is. Choir ooh ah. Let's put it here. And this ought to sound really unsettling, if I'm right. Very nice. This isn't quite what I expected. Oh, you know why? Because it's not very low. Now, the reason that sounds as weird as it does is because this right here is in perfect harmony. It's every 7th, I think, except for one of them, because that would sound weird, which would be this F6 here. That's not the 7th, I think. So, on a certain scale, I learned some kind of music theory thing, so... Anyway, this is perfect harmony. Okay. Now all I've done is I've just slowly brought down the top note, because that's the one you hear the most. I've slowly brought that down over the course of this whole thing, down to that unsettling sort of range that you hear. Now I'm going to Control A for control, or select all, and I'm going to just move it down, because I want to move it down to... Oh god, hang on. Shoot. Where did I have that last? It doesn't undo more than one step. Well. Oh yeah, F, right? So it's here. Let's move it down an octave. F6 maybe? I don't want it up there, but I don't think that's quite right. This is... It doesn't sound right. That sounds like... different. I don't know why, but I don't think that's quite it. That's not the sound I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. Choir. That is why. Okay, so... Okay, stop. I get carried away sometimes. Which one is middle C? That's the one I need. I would assume it's this. Let's just go with that. Sounds about the same. I think that actually is exactly the same. It is. Okay. So, let me try choir. Ah. Shut up. Okay, it's at a time like this that I press F9 to open up my mixer, and I see where this lies. It lies nowhere on the mixer, which is good. So I'll assign a free mixer track, and Sound Goodizer is always useful. I want that to sound really clear. Now, I'm also going to put in Parametric Equalizer 2. When I first started doing this whole music thing, I had no idea what any of these things were. So I watched like 40 YouTube videos just learning how to do this, and then I made the most simple song one can imagine. I don't think it even exists anymore because I had to reinstall this thing. So I want this to sound really crystal clear, which means not much in the middle bits here, much of the bass, these ones here, and a little bit of treble. Alright. I can turn that down now a little bit. And just to make it a little bit more, I don't know, because I like making electronic sounds as well. I like trying to merge, not merge, but I just think this could really be improved by having slightly electronic sounding undertones or overtones. One of the two. So what I need is I feel like it's not this one, but it's close. It's a phaser. Pretty phaser. This one, I think. I want it to be really subtle. A lot more subtle than that, so I think it is this one. Actually, one thing I can do is just do the effector, put it on phaser, turn that off. Dry wet just means how powerful the effect is. Took me forever to figure that out. Okay, and X mod, Y mod just means we drag it over, or is it X parameter? Yeah, it's X parameter. I don't know what does X mod do? Nothing as far as I can tell, that's fine. X parameter. Now, I'm going to create an automation clip on this. Basically, when you have sliders like this, it controls things on the effector itself, right? What you can then do is create an automation clip, and it shows up down here. Let's go ahead and get rid, well, I don't want to get rid of everything here necessarily, except for maybe that obnoxious alarm sound. Get that out of there. Put this at the top at number 1, whatever you want to call it. Now, go into the song, and it should sound relatively samey. Now I want to decide how much I want this to change and how quickly, and I can control that with this just by simply doing this sort of deal, and I'll make it the length of 2 whole repeats or whatever. So I'm gonna start it down here, and I'll put it back down here, and then I'll bring it all the way up just to see how that sounds. Okay, it sounded good, but it's not quite finished. The one last thing we need is a reverb. We need an echo to make it sound big and grandiose and fantastic, so I'll try the big one here. There's a bigger one than that. There's a bigger one than that. Oh, I guess that is it. I thought there was a bigger one. Okay. Now the problem with reverb, though, is if you have something with reverb that's too loud, it can actually sort of flood all of the channels kind of forever, especially if you have it repeating. Basically, it keeps whatever is playing, it makes it louder than it needs to be, so you gotta turn it down a little bit. Let me show you. So if I now bring in these, okay, we'll just play it for one whole beat here, and then we'll turn it, well, we'll have it at a reasonable level so that it sounds, actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off the reverb, just to illustrate this a little bit better. I'm going to turn the sound up. Right about there, sounds pretty good. And let's go ahead and listen.